killing it. Yeah, off to a great start. Good. All right. Welcome to the first episode of 15 Questions and a Can of Dr. Pepper. Today's episode and the first one we have Chris from Death Breath. There's that.
Thank you very much.
Before we start getting into the questions, I just thought we would do like a brief rundown on I wrote it down actually. You start with the background of like yourself, where'd you grow up, what job?
Okay, so I grew up in Mortdale, Hurstville, so South Sydney-ish. Started skating 11, 12, whatever.
Yep.
First board was a John Gibson Alva street deck.
Oh, really?
And I knew at that stage, like, it was a great shape. I loved the look of that deck.
Yeah.
But that was like purely like kneeboarding and stuff like that.
Yeah. So what do you do now?
Oh, okay, right. Okay, so my job now, I'm a programmer, software engineer. So I work on computers all day. And
Death Breath,
the hobby, the art, just the expression, the tangible thing I need in my life.
Yep.
Outside of work.
Cool. All right. Well, we'll start with the first one. What made you decide to start skateboarding? Like, what was your inspiration or influence to that?
I don't remember going, oh, that's exactly what I want to do. I know skateboards were banned in our house growing up.
Really?
Yep. So my brother made one, I think, at school, and Dad threw it out straight away as soon as he brought it back.
Wow.
So maybe from that point, it was like, oh, there's something about this thing that is drawing me to it, perhaps. But and then seeing Skating Life in the corner store, and the bright colours and the graphics of skateboards, and just going, there's something wild about this. I was pretty much drawn to the bright colours and the graphics and the just the rock and roll of what this anarchy is on a skateboard.
How did you go with starting skating then, with being banned?
Family involved, people went elsewhere, and rules were relaxed. So it's just something I think in the neighbourhood. Maybe a couple of mates got together and we just had skateboards. I think it pretty much just happened like that,
Yeah, true.
Mate gets one, get into it. I think it actually started with banana boards, actually.
Really?
Yeah. So bombing what we thought were hills, which would have been
when
manual inclines. But
when you look back now, we used to have a hill next to our house, and I used to think like it was psycho for going down it. And then
standing up on a board, going down.
When I go past it now, I'm like, I'm pretty sure that was just a long drive.
It's almost going uphill.
Yeah. I'm like, I don't think we were going down anything.
Yeah. So that's what probably started the journey of actually riding a skateboard and wanting to get better at it.
So the next one would be, from then to now, what were your influences back then to keep you skating or keep you interested in it, to now, what are your influences?
Okay, well, I don't know about the early days apart from just the bright colours.
Well, the early days, but let's say through your teens or whatever.
Yeah. Okay, so an early memory would be when Mouse came out, seeing that and just being blown away by that. Like from start to finish, that was a skate.
I have that up there on VHS.
Start to finish, it was like just the perfect skate thing for me. I wasn't really into Powell and Santa Cruz earlier on.
Yeah.
Hadn't been. Sorry?
Alva?
I was, yeah. I'd have all the skate mags and stuff like that, and I'd be looking at Alva and Zorlak and those kind of gross graphics.
Zorlak, I haven't thought about that.
Rob Roscott was another kind of thing that always appealed to me, but like anything else, like Santa Cruz, I didn't really follow it. But so skipping forward from that era, you've got Mouse, and then late teens with the black labels, your anti-heroes. By that stage I was living in Newtown and skating Waterloo, Fernside, the original.
Oh, the original one.
The prefab steel thing, dangerous thing it was, but it was
I skated Fernside a few times.
Yeah.
My sister lived in Newtown as well.
Oh, okay. Well, that was the local.
She lived across from the old RSL that was on the corner.
Okay.
Down from like the main strip.
Yeah, right. Okay. Well, I was living in, I guess St. Peter's more than Newtown, but that kind of area.
Cool.
And so that was the thing. And
so now, what's something that inspires you now?
It's not so much brands or anything like that, or it's just something I like doing. Like I like making skateboards now. Like so, I've carved out this whole part of skateboarding for myself.
Yeah.
Which is me in a shed, cutting things out.
Yeah.
And then getting stoked on
that.
And learning along the way about what a wheelbase is, how long a kick could be or should be, or how wide how things are going to react.
Is there any brands out there that inspire you with the shapes, like, or is the opposite, that brands are doing too much with shapes?
Well, I initially say Creature had a lot of square tails that were kind of like I was drawn to. I really liked that kind of stuff initially. Heroin started doing the egg and some other wacky things, and that was interesting. But then you've got your whole other your DIY makers era. You've got cigarette skateboards era. You've got the DIY makers, but you've got cigarette skateboards that do some wild shapes. You've got live skateboards. You've got manic skates, and like once I found those guys, like it was just like, oh shit, there's my whole world of
change.
Yeah, like shape, what's available and what you can do had changed.
So how long's Death Breath been, like, from start, like before you announced it as a thing? Like, how long has it been in the works for before you started?
I don't think it was like it wasn't something I was dwelling on for a while. Like it started in around May 21.
Yep.
Right, so we're in lockdown, or before lockdown, or it was around that time. And I was looking. I guess I had a void for wanting to create something tangible. Like I've been coding for so many years, and I was just like, I want to do something with my hands. Playing music's cool, but that's not something you can actually hold unless it's a physical release or anything like that. But I guess I had this void to make something, and I wanted to learn something as well. And woodwork was definitely an avenue I've always wanted to go down, but never really followed that. So I've just taken skateboarding and that desire and
enjoying them. So one of the main questions that was sent in by everybody was, what companies influence you?
It's your small makers.
The smaller DIY ones over the bigger companies.
Like you see some cool stuff come out, like Sam Hitz from Creature usually does his own kind of thing, or he might do like one-off stuff for Creature, and they're usually wild shapes. But it's in terms of mainstream brands, probably like I keep an eye on Creature and Heroin still. But it's your smaller DIY makers. That's who I really get my inspiration
And the other one was graphic-wise. What companies?
Yeah, well, I was always drawn to that bright rock and roll grossness, your Zorlax, I guess your Rob Roscott kind of stuff. That's what drew me in, and that's what I'd like to that's what I like seeing on skateboards anyway. So, I guess music is a massive influence on what I do. Like the name Death Breath is taken from a band.
Yeah, that's a.
So
Can you explain that one?
yeah,
Because I found that super interesting.
well, I guess you could say it's a parody death metal band called Death Breath, and great songs. They're hilarious, and I just was connected to it. It's just one of those bands that when I hear them, I'm just like, oh, that's really cool, and I like that they don't take themselves too seriously. So that's what, when I was thinking about, well, what am I going to have for a name? And it's just like, well, that's fun, and I can really go down that whole. Oh, sorry, am I boring you?
No, I'm just.
I can really go down that whole grossness that what I like about graphics and stuff with a name like that. It doesn't take itself too seriously.
No, I like that because I try and that's what we try to do with the shop, not take it too serious. But the other one was how like the crafting of things. Is that not just skateboarding, but you seem to be always working with your hands in some form. How does that come about? Is there...
Oh, it's just how I like to spend my time. It's a release.
Because I notice you've got a lot of older tools.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. So a lot of the tools you'll see in the photos.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So they're my grandfather's tools. So I had a cabinet maker. A grandfather was a cabinet maker, and a grandfather was a painter. And I've inherited all of their tools. So it's definitely a part of my workspace to have their tools about.
So you still use those tools?
I use some of them actually. Yeah, some of them. You wouldn't. But they look cool, and that's.
So it's a family thing.
Yeah, it's a family thing. As aesthetics, I think gives the photos something else that's interesting.
I'm a big fan.
Oh, you're a big fan?
Yeah, I like it. Like you said, the aesthetic of it all and everything like that.
Well, everything's handmade, and those tools back then were manual tools, and I just like that connection.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Next one on the list. Where were we? This is a personal question of mine. What stokes you out more? You creating a board and somebody buying it, or people reaching out to you with their ideas of a board?
Oh, that's a good question. I think they're both fantastic. Like I would have to say people reaching out and giving me a challenge to I want something X, Y, has to look like this and blah blah blah. And then if I can then take that and turn it into something that they're stoked about, that's like amazing. I love that. I love the creation of that.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Do you find it easier in that way to like create something that somebody has sent you, like with like experimenting with wheelbases, the size of the nose, the tail, the different shapes, or is it easier for you to come up with it? In that aspect of like, well, not so much come up with it, but like feel more comfortable experimenting.
Right. I guess majority of my work at the moment is custom orders.
Yeah.
If I get time, I'll usually do a small batch of something, and I'll go, okay, well, what have I done? I've done 50 9-inch eggs, whatever. I'll do something else now. I might make the wheelbase like this or whatever. But it's been a while since I've done that because I'm getting 3 to 4 orders a week of custom shapes. So
that's sick.
Yeah, look, I'm not complaining.
There's a third part to that. Does it stoke you out as well? More returning customers.
Oh yeah. I'm seeing that a lot of that now.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's really cool. A couple of our local mates have actually reached out in the last week or so and got some different shapes. So yeah, look, it's all good, and the repeat business usually comes with an extra challenge. Let's. And we're back.
I forgot where we were, but the band, the music.
Oh yeah,
so
playing music.
Are you playing a band now?
Not at the moment. Been playing in bands for a few years. Mainly based in Sydney. One up here. Yeah.
So what's the influence behind music?
Oh, it's just another creative outlet.
Yeah.
I like being able to write riffs, write a song, stitch it all together with vocals, and have something tangible at the end.
Yeah.
That's what drives
So
me.
what's your musical influence?
Well, I guess-
what's your
Well, early bands would have been more thrash, metal influenced punk, I guess, and then it's kind of got heavier and slower as I've gotten heavier and slower.
Yeah,
So-
right. So do we have any bands? Give us 3 bands that you would listen to from today. More so.
Today. Oh, okay. In that kind of genre. Or?
No, like if you were to leave here now.
I'll tell you what. Weird. It's unrelated, but at the moment, Cure is a.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I like the Cure.
Yeah, I've been really enjoying them. Graveyard, which
That's
is
a good one.
yeah. I like a bit of that old retro influence kind of stoner.
Yep.
And just your classics, Deep Purple, Black Sabbath. Yeah.
Do you write the music or
Yep. Write music.
also lyrics or just the music?
Yeah,
Or
I
both?
can. I've been known to dabble in lyrics. It's not my favourite thing.
How do you construct a song? Is it like building a skateboard? Like
Yeah, I guess in a way, like I have a way of making a skateboard, and I have a way of writing a song. So like, I might say in terms of writing a song, I might have a riff or something, and then I'll try and stitch at least 2 riffs together, and then I'll go, okay, that sounds like the meat of a song, or I might say that sounds like the start and a little bit of a song, and then I'll know from whatever that feeling is what I need to jam in there and just stretch it out to a couple of minutes.
yeah, right. I've always found it super gnarly, like because it's something I don't understand at all. Like I listen to music, but like the way that like how would you start a song? Well, in that this is a bonus question.
Okay.
Do the lyrics come first or the music?
For
or
me,
vice versa.
For me, it's music first. It's riffs first.
Yeah, and then you get an idea of the
and
lyrics
then-
to the song.
Yeah, if there needs to be lyrics for the song, it's the last second.
Yeah, right.
I'm not one for writing or creative writing, or I'm not very strong at articulating feelings or writing about history or something and getting it down into words.
And shortening it
yeah.
down to an
So-
impactful.
Yeah, so that's not a strength, and I admire people that do have that skill.
Yeah.
But for me, if writing lyrics, it's an afterthought.
So the next one would be: does music influence your skateboarding, and skateboarding influence your music?
Oh well,
Or-
skateboarding is definitely influencing my music, like soundtracks to early skate videos. I've discovered a lot of bands through skate videos.
Yep. I think every skateboarder has.
Yeah,
Like
totally.
there's so many bands that I never knew existed until skate videos.
Yeah, I think Questionable, Plan B Questionable had everything. Beastie Boys, Iron Maiden, The Doors. Like, you can't help but, be exposed to awesome music by watching the old skate videos. Yeah.
See, I think that's where I've with skate videos was like you said before, the black label videos. I always was like on the computer or trying to find out or waiting till the end of the movie, and then you have to write it down, and then back then you had like LimeWire.
Yeah.
And those sorts of things.
Yeah.
It took 3.5 days to download an album, and then if somebody turned it off, it was
Yeah.
that was sick.
I discovered a lot of music. So, music's influenced my skateboarding, my world of skateboarding. I don't know about vice versa, but
Yeah. Is there any? Do you listen to anything in particular before skating, or is it just whatever you're feeling that day?
no. The way I skate nowadays is literally, what am I doing right now? Can I get a skate in? Okay, I'll go skate. Like,
Yeah.
I don't plan anything like that. I'll get psyched up or anything.
No,
like
I mean
that.
like if you're driving to it, is there any
Oh,
like?
no.
No.
Like, I was listening to Cure again on the way out to Woodbury, so, and maybe because I'm injured and I knew I wasn't really going to be skating, I was a
Yeah.
little bit sulky inside. So
I
the
can-
cure kind of
I can-
worked with that.
I can feel that pain. So with skateboarding, what you go to or you prefer? Like, do you like more of a DIY setup, curbs, ramps, like, or is it just whatever you're feeling that day?
I like everything. I've never really been a fan of just straight up flat ground. Like, just
Any respectable person.
oh look,
No.
you know,
It has its place.
yeah, it definitely does, and it was never a strength of mine. I'd like to have something that I can throw the skateboard into, whether it's a transition or a
Yep.
curb, and it doesn't have to. I like skating parks. I like skating DIY parks, DIY spots, just whatever. Yeah, just not flat ground.
Yeah, right. And another one, if somebody sent in, and then 2 people asked me today, was double question again. Skateboarding at the moment,
Mm-hmm.
2 likes and 2 dislikes.
Oh, well, I'm out of touch. You know, like my take on skateboarding would be different to
Yeah,
someone
so that
else's.
what people want to know about your take on skateboarding, because there's a semi-mysteriousness behind Death Breath.
Oh, okay. Well, that's
Like
because
through the shop and stuff, because people see the things in here, or the boards, or
Yeah.
the Instagram posts, but
Yeah.
have never met you or spoken to you.
Yeah, well, Death Breath is a personal art release. That's the way
Yeah.
I look at it. I don't look at it as a necessarily like a brand or company, or it's just something I like doing. I think having that as an option in local skateboarding is good. Like, it's just a fresh, or not necessarily fresh, but another set of eyes on skateboarding, and
Yep.
like my take on it, basically.
Okay, but your dislikes.
Oh,
I know it's a hard. I get this sometimes because it's very hard to. What do you hate? I even say
yeah,
it.
I don't know, like
Because I get it the same too with like in here, so to speak.
well, I've already
there's
said I dislike flat ground, right?
Well, there's one.
Yeah,
just flat ground.
So
So,
you've
you
already
dislike
got
our
about
Sunday.
30 unfollowers
So
right now.
So you dislike our Sunday game. Okay, we got that.
Yeah, we got that down.
But
The
no,
second
like
one.
it's because I'm like not out of touch, if that's the word, but like my vision of what skateboarding is a lot different to others. And some of the things I've already said on our lives or whatever, like people have come in after it and questioned my thoughts. And I always try and tell people these are just my truths.
Yeah.
Like this is just me. Like your opinion is your opinion.
I guess if I had an opinion, it would be like just the irony skateboarding, the modern irony skateboarding had, and just. But that's just my opinion, and I'm out of touch, and it doesn't mean anything. Like, it's just
Oh, dude, my opinion
My-
doesn't
my-
mean anything either.
like when I think about being excited about skateboarding, or like the years where it was, that was ages ago,
Yeah,
and that's not
What it is
what
today.
present day skateboarding is. So like,
yeah.
who cares what I think?
Well,
Oh well,
you
yeah,
were-
yeah, I know.
There
No,
was
but
a
I'm just
unanimous. You were like the most popular choice out of everybody.
yeah. But my mum's got like 15 accounts, and she's
Ah, right. And Laurie voted for you like
Oh.
17 times because you told you're on her skateboarding team.
yeah, yeah. I've just gone pro.
Yeah, for amateur skateboards.
Yep.
So the next one is what's next for you, as in terms of like with Death Breath. Like you said before, it's an extension of you and your art.
Yep.
Is there a push to push it to the next level, or you're happy about where it's sitting?
I like where it's sitting. I'm loving the exposure I'm getting now. Like, I'd never dreamed that, like, I never thought from the outset that I'm going to get my decks in skate shops. Like, that was
Yeah.
never a thing. You hit me up prior to even starting Amigos. And
I'm just
put
a
that-
big fan of the whole thing?
Well, that's, that part of Deaf Breath is because of, your contact and you're doing there. So, and I've enjoyed the exposure and the people I've met through yourself and Amigos by doing that, by having skateboards here. But it's a saturated market. So would I like to take it further and do more and produce more? Sure, but I don't think it's a viable. Yeah, exactly. That's why I am still working full time.
Yeah.
So
I think if people are in skateboarding for money, they're in it for the wrong reasons. So
yeah, well, look, it's not cheap to make skateboards, especially in Australia because of shipping.
That was going to be my next one. Another one with where's the
how much
from?
do I make? Oh, right.
How much is your annual income and your address and
do you have your
number?
I'll get the first one.
Yeah.
100% hard rock Canadian maple sent to me from Alabama. And I actually asked Alabama, and I asked first I get specific lengths and widths cut so I can maximize the use of my mold, which I've designed, put a lot of work in to design that mold. But wood comes from there. So then I've got shipping costs on that, like everyone else has. But it's a killer. So while I've still got the fire and the passion to do it, Deaf Breath will still be around.
Yep.
As long as people order what I'm putting out, but
it's
a saturated market.
It definitely is, and we've tried to minimize the companies, especially board companies, that we're trying to do. I'd like to do more homegrown local stuff, but those companies come and go.
Yeah.
And that's one of the reasons why.
Yeah.
Because of the expenditure of the whole operation.
But that's the positive swing on that is if a homegrown brand does come and go, you've still got that nostalgia of, you remember that time old mate was doing,
I sometimes I'm like, remember, and then I've got to remember that I'm not even that old, but most of the people I hang out with now are so much younger than me through skateboarding that they just look at me with this deadpan look of nah, dude, what was that in 1925? And I'm like, I'm not even that old. I just look old because of the way. And the way I hobble around and the noises. You know the noise when you bend over.
I've heard them.
Yeah, you would have heard them a few times yesterday in the 7 minutes I skated for. Now, the other one that a lot of people were asking me through the week was about the board shapes, more so than anything. That's one that I can't work out. Is how do you work out?
Oh, you want me to give up my secrets?
Not the trade secret, but a board to nose. How do you know what a decent nose is compared to your wheelbase and that, or is the experiment the?
Yeah, well, it can depend on many factors, right? So usually with custom orders, if someone's specific about a nose, they might have some kind of idea of of kick angles that they want, but all the
trial and error,
people's prior shapes, get influence wherever you can. No, I'm pretty sure it went that way. Anyway, next question.
That's gonna weird me out. What else did I have written down here? I get fidgety and I scrunch.
Yeah, you're right. I'm making you nervous, I can see that.
Yeah. Alright. But one of the other ones that I would like to know is molds.
Yep.
How
I worked on my current molds now is I go through a company in California, Open Source Skateboards.
Yep.
Old mate has his own kind of skate CAD software where you can actually design features, concave, radiuses, and so on. So what I've done is I've taken influences from what I've liked in boards that I've had, you know, such as the depth of concave in the kicks, the transitional angles of a kick, many other features that, you know, I've nailed down. And yeah, I've just plugged that into the software. I've gotten a high density mold CNC'd and shipped back to me, and I've cast concrete versions of those molds that I get sent.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So you pour the concrete?
Yeah.
Of the molds and.
That's right. I've got a family friend that's helped me a lot with the press and the mold.
So how long does a board sit in a mold?
I leave them in the press for 24 hours.
Yep.
Just to ensure that everything's retained and as the glue cures. And then they're taken out of the press and actually left to cure out in the open for about 7 days before I even start cutting.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So what, you just have them in the shed, or you have like a rack or anything?
In the office.
Yeah, right. I didn't know that. I thought once it was out of the mold, you basically...
No, it's just to prevent like warps. Like I put in a kind of climate controlled room.
Yep.
And just ensures that the rigidity of the...
What's the glue that you use?
I use Type Bond 3. That's another trade secret.
Yeah?
Yeah.
You're letting it all out.
Yeah, well,
yeah. We're going to have skateboard shakers all over Newcastle.
Oh, well. Everyone's going to be losing money.
I would definitely, because it seems so complicated to me. But you build other things as well for skateboarding, like ledges.
Yeah, I've built ledges, kickers.
How do you go about that? Do you build just random ideas, or?
Okay, so I've donated some to like skate schools kind of thing, or like I'll build a box for a mate, or a flat bar or something like that.
Have you ever done a concrete flat bar?
No, like a curb?
No, like an actual flat bar.
No.
Yeah, I've seen
concrete flat bar.
Yeah, I've seen some dudes in Queensland do it. I'll show you if I can find it.
Okay. I think you might have shown me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Cast it and
yeah. That's right.
Sick.
That would sound fantastic, I reckon.
I don't know, man. I can do sports science.
That sounds pretty good.
Yeah. Where else were we? I had another question before I went to that one.
Were you going to ask me like who I'd like to thank? And...
Yeah, but there was a question before that.
Oh, how do people get in touch with me?
Yeah, that was going to be
that was
the final one. No, that was on there.
Okay, right.
No, it was something about like the
making stuff.
Oh, you made a curb recently?
Oh, I actually haven't poured it. I've made the curb mold.
That was my question.
Yeah. Okay.
I was going to ask you how the curb went, but obviously
no. I'll let you know next week.
Non-existent curb went okay. So
I made a mold, and I've made the angles of the curb a lot more generous for my ankles at the moment. So
hopefully with the technology we can put the Instagram or something in this video. But other than that, how would people get in contact with you?
Instagram.
Just Instagram?
Yeah, Instagram. I've got a website, Deaf Breath Skateboards. You can Deaf Breath Skateboards, Instagram, Facebook, website.
Yeah.
That's pretty much it. But I'm
inbox you and...
Yeah, that's pretty much what I just use Instagram for anyway. So
you'd have a hectic inbox, wouldn't you?
No, I mean yeah. Yeah.
So there might be a waiting list.
Yeah.
Like, so if he doesn't reply straight away, which I've sent him messages and he just seen.
Yeah.
Awkward. But in following that, shout outs, thanks. Anyone that you would like to tell off if you'd like to?
No, nothing like that. Big thanks
nice,
to I keep that stuff inside.
And then write music.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, exactly. That's what the music is for.
Or aggressive, like wheel wells.
Yeah, exactly, with a chisel. Yeah. Big thanks to Lindsay, a family friend of mine that's helped me with the molds and the press. Big thanks to Ben that's helped me with layouts, graphics and stuff like that. That's been another thing, I've paid, sourced artwork from people, and then that's a big part of Death Breath. Like I wanted to outsource that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I didn't want to do everything of Death Breath, so it's like.
And you screen print.
Yeah, I've had
all
to
the
learn
boards.
that, and that sucks. Like honestly, screen printing is the worst part of the process for me.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, the
yeah.
wheel wells?
No, it's the screen printing. I feel like it can make or break a board. You know, especially if I've made a shape that I'm really happy with, and I'm really happy with the quality of the work, and then I've stained it and it's looking all good, and then screen print and it's just like, oh, that looks rubbish.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, going back to thanking people.
Yeah, sorry about that.
It's alright. Ben Ligard, that's helped me with layouts of artwork, and yourself for inviting me into the Amigo shop with shirts and boards and hats
and stickers. We always hand the stickers out.
So I appreciate that, like that exposure. That's the exposure that's come from that. Anyone that's reached out and got a board, especially those who have gotten the second one, that's always appreciated. So big thank you for those people keeping the lights on.
All right. Well, I'd like to say thanks for coming in.
Thank you.
Also, a big thank you for doing what you do. I think it's rad, and it keeps people around here stoked. Like when we did the raffle for your board, that was the fastest raffle that sold out.
That shocked me. I thought that would have just been crickets.
So no, I really respect it. I thank you as well for like helping me with skateboarding, working out tricks and stuff. No, that's truthful because I have frequent.
Well, I see you struggling, and I just think,
well, I have been known to have a bit of a temper.
Oh, it's just like, oh,
Here
is he trying that?
Yeah, he is.
All right, Tyler, here we go. Here's the tip.
So the trade secrets, but no, and for everybody else, thanks for what you do for skateboarding in general around here. It's really cool, and it's good to see that somebody's doing it for the love.
Yeah, that's definitely what the Death Breath is going to be around for as long as the passion
and the
is
drive
there.
And that's a thing that I think is slightly missing in a lot of skateboarding circles, is that just creativity, skate. That like, let's stand on our own 2 feet and do our own thing. And I respect that, and thank you again.
Oh, another handshake.
Two for the price of one. And that will be the end of it.
Thanks,
Hope you guys enjoyed it, and like Chris said, if you want a board, hit him up.